I'd like to call to order the Greater Rutland County Supervisory Union Quarry Valley Unified Union School District Board meeting. Can everybody please stand and face the flag and recite the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to do board introductions in case people don't know who we are. My name's Eric Heyer. I'm the board chair, and I am from Poultney.
Jessie Grabowski, vice chair, West Rutland.
Tom Callahan, West Rutland.
Oh, Lisa Meisner Proctor. Thought we were doing the whole team first.
Linda Smith from Poultney.
Pat Davenport, Poultney.
Lauren Davenport, Poultney.
Michael Mosier, West Rutland.
Okay, thank you. Sarah's joining us from electronically. She's from Proctor. The next is approval of the agenda, and I have a motion that I would like to read and bring to the floor. I would like to make the following motion to remove agenda item under new business discussion/action, item A, Quarry Valley Unified Union School District Winter Athletics Coaching Assignments for the 2025-2026 school year, including the proposed reappointment of West Rutland High School boys varsity basketball coach. This is based on Title 16 VSA Statute 242. To summarize, it's the statute that gives all authority to hire and or fire non-licensed employees to the superintendent. Therefore, the above-mentioned agenda item is not appropriate for this board to take action on. Do I have any discussion from the board? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, thanks, Sarah. Opposed? So moved. Motion carries. I would like a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
So moved.
Motion's been made. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections?
So going forward for the agenda, in light of the new open meeting law and Act 51, the agenda needs to become more transparent. So we have items on here this evening that as a board member, I have no idea what the essence of the discussion is. Pre-K is an example. That is not transparent for the public to know if they should be coming or shouldn't be coming to discuss. So, and also under your approval of minutes, it's mine from the last time. It's with an amendment to that. It doesn't say that on the agenda either. So transparency and following 51 needs to start happening with our agendas.
Okay, good. Thank you. I believe that our last meeting, we actually decided not to speak about pre-K anymore. So I would like to remove item A under old business, discussion and action, pre-K. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, I would like a motion to approve the agenda with the two changes that were made.
So moved.
So a motion's been made. Any discussion? Any additions or deletions? Further deletions? Corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, we're going to move on to general public comments. When people, I'm sure people want to come up, and I'm glad that you're here to talk to the board. please come up to the podium and just state your name. We're going to give everybody a minute because there's a lot of you here.
And residents, just to make sure, where their residents
And where their residence is, where they live, the town they live in.
Thank you.
Sure.
Allan Mitchell, Hampton, coach here, clearly. I firstly just want to, sorry.
Can you just speak a little bit louder?
Sure.
We
I have
can
no
hear
problem
you.
with that. So Allan Mitchell, Hampton is where I live. I coach here. I am a community member in that essence. I just want to say thank you to the showing of support from everyone thus far. I just want to speak a little bit on the successes outside of the court that these young men have continued to have since my taking over 4 years ago. Many will talk about our successes on the court and our quest towards winning a state championship. However, the biggest wins for me would be the successes in the classroom and elsewhere. So when I first took over, we had not countless, but quite a few eligibility concerns, behavioral issues in the classroom, and an overall slightly negative reputation of the boys basketball players here at West Rutland. I've preached student first since day one. It took some time for the culture shift to occur. However, with each passing year, there have been far less emails, conversations with teachers and/or administrators, and eligibility concerns. This past year, in the entirety of our high school boys basketball program, there was only one JV player that had a stint of ineligibility, and there was only one green slip administered the entire season, which happened towards the end of the season. We had students recognized in the classroom for their achievements both at West Rutland and Stafford, and we had multiple student athletes juggling nearly full-time employment, academics, and their positive role on our basketball team.
If you could just wrap it up.
All right. So these are the important wins, okay? This is why we're here. This is why I coach. Obviously, my family, it's ingrained. It's the same thing at Pulteney. You have the Catmans and Proctor. You have the McKierans or the Parkers. We care so much about this community, and that needs to be put to the forefront, not any sort of personal agendas and vendettas. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Please state your name and the town.
Good evening. My name is Tony Dutil. I reside in Castleton. I'm a 2011 graduate of West Rutland High School. I just have a question for the board, or something that I hope the board will discuss here tonight. So it seems that the agenda item has been dismissed for this evening as improper under 16 BSA 242. My question is, under 16 BSA 242 subsection 3C, it provides the superintendent the duty to dismiss non-licensed employees as necessary. That's the language in the statute. So my question tonight is, does the board tend to discuss either at this meeting or another meeting, or make any sort of recommendation to the superintendent that any such dismissal would be necessary? So that's what I'm hoping to hear tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay.
My name is Clayton Kessup. I'm a graduate from West Rutland. I just graduated this last June.
And you're
West
from-
Rutland. Good evening, Quarry Valley board members and community members. I'm here speaking in support of Coach Allan Mitchell. I graduated from West Rutland High School this past June, and I was on the hiring committee for student involvement and input between Mike Davis and Allan Mitchell. When we had player interviews, I was also one of the captains this past year. I was partial to Mike Davis during the interview process. First, he was male. I had always had male coaches. I had reservations on how a group of teenage boys were going to treat a female coach, and whether she would have the means to handle it. Second, I had played a little bit of JV under Mike, so I was comfortable with him. As we all know, Allie was hired. I am writing this to support the decision wholeheartedly. It's a decision that I am so thankful was made. I now realize that being female has no bearing on any coaching ability of young men. If anything, I would now encourage it. One of the greatest things about a small school is that it becomes like family. Allie, as a West Rutlander herself, has roots that run deep in a family name that is tried and true in this town. It runs deeper than coaching. She truly cares about the students, the community, and the culture that is built here. A culture that was based off the one she had, the coaches before her, like her dad, had built. Being female helps the team dynamic. We all have so much respect for her. She reins us in. Have any of you been to a boys basketball game in the last 4 years? I tend to not think so if you are looking elsewhere for a boys basketball coach. My freshman year, we went 0-20. The stands were empty, and I'm pretty sure most had written us off, all but a few parents and one committed coach, Allie. That record meant nothing to her in terms of how she envisioned the program. She made us work hard, start to finish, to play with our heads up. Believing in ourselves was part of that work. We had no trust in each other and no confidence, but every day she chipped away at that. Every year, the sight of Barry inched closer. Year two, we nearly beat the number 4 seed in the playoffs. By year 3, we lost in Barry in the semifinal game against a stacked D4 team with international recruits. This last year was my senior year, and by far my favorite memory will be making it to the final game in Barry. The outcome wasn't that we wanted, but that relationship that I built with those guys, and Allie, and Allan, and Jesse, is unmeasurable. I will never forget the year 4 battle. I have grown so much as a player and as a person. As I set out to begin my next journey, I only hope that this team goes out next season with the same tenacity and finishes the job.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Chair's in charge, not you.
Then it should have been on the agenda then.
Taking away the brain of the operation makes no sense. Why would you take that away from them? Why would you take that away from her? Let her finish the job. Let her have 400 wins like her dad. Let her have the same goals, the same success, and records to break. Let her coach in the community to which she was raised. Let her give back to what built her. I recommend that you start attending some events within the community that you serve. You may make different choices, especially ones that affect the entire community. Tonight, before you make a vote, take a look around the room. I guarantee almost every athlete that Allie has coached over the past 4 years will be present or have written a letter. She has given the blood, sweat, and tears to making 15-plus guys feel like they have what it takes, building confidence, building morale, all while dealing with her own life, owning a business, and growing a family. Stop the madness and just let Allie do what she does best, which is lead the future men's Golden Basketball Horde to a D4 title and putting a banner up to join the rest in the Hinchy. Thank you for your time.
Please try to keep it to a minute.
Mine's short. I hate public speaking, so you're good. Yeah.
You're smiling.
I know, but it's because I'm scared.
Okay.
Anyways, hello everybody. My name is Melissa West, a West Rutland resident since I was in 3rd grade. Attended here at West Rutland High School. I was a 2001 graduate and honestly could not be prouder to have been raised in such a loving and helpful, caring community. I now raise 2 daughters here, ages 9 and 12. Carl and Allie were the first to coach my oldest during her younger years for skills and drills. She absolutely loved it because the coaches treated these kids like family. My oldest is now going into the 7th grade and only wants to play basketball with the hopes that the Serranis are still there to coach her into greatness. With that being said, the Serrani family has brought years of love, commitment, effort, guidance, and so much more to this community. My question is, why fix what's not broken? Allie herself has noticeably done a significant amount of work with the boys team, and the way the boys look up to her and probably love her as a role model is what makes Westside the best side. I encourage you to let her keep her position in her hometown where she can be great and so can the boys. Thank you.
My name is Peter Guay, West Rutland. I'm a rising junior for West Rutland School. I have been a member of the varsity boys basketball team since 8th grade. We are here tonight under very unfortunate circumstances. I am asking the members of the school board to renew Allie's contract. We are a team. We are a family and Allie is our coach. We have unfinished business next season and it cannot be done without her. If you care about this school, you will show your support of her and of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please come up.
Hi, I'm Kathy Turjan. I lived in West Rutland my whole life. I'm in Rutland Town now, but I also taught in West Rutland for 37 years and I retired 4 years ago. Also, I was a varsity coach for 10 years, and somebody I was in close relationship was the boys varsity coach for over 10 years. I can tell you that being a coach is way more than what you do on that floor and what you do during a game and what you do in 2 hours of practice. Being a coach takes up way more time than that. And I know that Allie and Serranis have done that. You are a psychologist, and you help these kids out in so many ways. You help with school, you have discussions with parents, you talk about situations that are tough situations. Kids are going through a lot these days. There's kids that I know on that court right now who had issues, who had family issues, had things going on. But Allie did more than just coach. She took these kids in like her own and helped them. You can see the growth. I am just totally confused at why this is even happening tonight. It's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. When you have a family that has put their heart and soul into this program and more, I don't understand how this is happening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody, somebody
Yes,
online?
I'm on the Zoom meeting and I'd like to speak.
Sure. Go ahead, Jennifer.
This is Jennifer Deppert. I'm from Pulteney. While I may not have kids in West Rutland and in the West Rutland program, Allie puts it upon herself volunteering to run an AAU program that my children attend, and puts in countless hours into that program. And I just think there needs to be some transparency as to why this is even on the agenda.
Okay.
I understand it's been removed now, but it was there for a reason, and I think there needs to be some transparency around that. Yep.
My name's TJ Kessup. I reside in Rutland. I have a graduating senior this year, Clayton Kessup. He was fortunate enough to play for Allie since he was a freshman in high school, and I'm extremely appalled by the board tonight that this was even put on the agenda. The things that you've done to Allie to put her through this is absolutely ridiculous. Whatever personal vendetta there has been towards her, this is absolutely ridiculous, and I think that the board really needs to take a look at the rules, the chair, and all that, and make sure that they're doing things by the book, because this is totally unacceptable in every way. Allie.
Hi, I'm Jaden Kelly. I was born and raised in West Rutland. I'm a high school student. And Allie's one of the best things that's ever came to West Rutland. She's helped us with everything. She's made us the team we are today. She cares about us with all her heart. And if you guys would like proof of it, 2020, when my great-grandfather was in the hospital in Dartmouth and my whole family was there, for a whole week, she drove me home and picked me up to go to practice because I didn't want to miss it. And she made sure she could. She cares about this team with all her heart, and it's wrong if she would ever get taken off.
Would anybody else like to speak?
My name is Kaylin Carter. I'm from West Rutland. I moved here about 2 years ago, and since day one, Allie made it her mission to make me and everybody else on the team better, just through confidence, morale, and I think she's done a great job doing that, and she's going to continue to do that. So I don't know why she should be reappointed in any way. I think the amount of growth that we've all had as a team is just shown through how we play and how everything has just came together. She's reflected great amounts of respect towards us, and she's taken blows and she's just rolled with it like no other coach I've seen. She's easily been the best coach I've had ever. So I just don't think she should be reappointed at all, and I'd love to have her as our coach for the foreseeable future.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, I'm Dave Potter from Clarendon. Kind of an outsider with just a few observations. The first time I saw Allie Mitchell was at a West Rutland graduation. She was the speaker. She was chosen to be the speaker, not too many people are. And her speech was a dandy, very motivating, very complimentary of the West Rutland school system. And people in the audience could digest it and be very proud of it. Second time I saw her in an informal way was right out here at the table where they sell tickets and raffle tickets. And it was at a girls' game, and she's the boys' coach, and she's sitting at that table welcoming people to the Hinchy gym. And I thought that was pretty neat. I've never seen a coach do that before. Then I go to a West Rutland boys game, and I see Allie Mitchell as the coach. And in my 81 years, I've never seen a woman coaching a boys basketball team. And she looked like a regular coach to me, doing everything you're supposed to do. But what you do notice is all those rough and tumble teenage boys looking at least twice as tall as she is, and she has her arms around them, and they're all in a huddle, and she's bossing them around. That's quite a scene. And lastly, I noticed a post on Facebook from a parent of one of the varsity boys, and it said how nice it was going to be when Coach Allie Mitchell had her baby, and she would instantly have a dozen or so unks from the boys' varsity team. What a compliment to the West Rutland coach and the whole team. It sounded like a family to me. Allie Mitchell has coached through thick and thin with winning and losing teams. She much deserves your support. And that's because she's an exceptional person with a lot of energy, skill, and ability to think outside the box.
Thank you.
You
And
can have my minute.
Going to be very short with a couple more. She's a very exceptional coach, extremely loyal to her school and her players, and she's a keeper. Extremely valuable to West Rutland High School and to the greater West Rutland community. She's proven it over and over.
Thank you. Anybody else online?
Oh, okay, I'll go say something. Man, it won't be very long at all because I am still just so confused. I look around and I'm just.
I need to know your name. And
my name is Allan. I'm the JV basketball coach. I coach alongside Allie for the last 3 years. I was the middle school coach before that. I went to school in Mill River. I'm from Clarendon, and I'm just confused, man.
Yep.
What is this about? It's pretty clear that this has nothing to do with basketball. It's pretty clear it has nothing to do with the boys. It's pretty clear this has to do with some people's egos. And I'm just trying to be real. What am I going to say when I get up there? And I'm like, what is this even about? And it took me about 10 people coming up here to be like, I don't think any of us have a clue what this is about. We're just here because we care. And if this is about some Facebook posts, which I think that's what this is about, and no one wants to say it, like, we all just need to be accountable for what we did. Everybody should, not just one person. Everybody should. You ever said anything? I mean, like, you ever said anything you regret? I know I have. And if we're not gonna, if we're not gonna let us down, if it's one strike and you're out, that's a pretty bad baseball game, my man. That's a bad baseball game.
Carl Serrani, West Rutland. Allan just said basically what it is. What is this all about? It's not about basketball. Can't be. Can't take a team, these guys go 0-20 and then end up in the state finals. It's personal. We don't know what the person, what she did or how she said something, but it's ridiculous. It really is. It needs to happen. He's dead now.
Personal page. You've been on her page.
My name is Braden Shutt. I'm from West Rutland. I previously came from MSJ. I attended my first 2 years of high school there. I'm now going to be a senior this year. And I just want to say that the lifeline of any team is their coach. Any player, you can ask anyone here. The lifeline of that team is their coach. You need someone you can turn to in those moments of where you're just completely down in the dumps. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You're just completely lost. I've known Allie for not even a whole year. And I can just say that she is by far one of the most incredible people I've ever come across. The way she just cares and listens and nurtures you and believes in you is unlike anything that I've seen. And I've had a lot of coaches in my time. And I know I'm young, but I've gone internationally. I've played out of state. But for someone to be local and just have such a connection to their community, it's unlike anything I've seen. It really is. It's been stated time and time again by everyone that's come up. This shouldn't be happening. It really shouldn't. Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Kelsey Leaden, I live in Clarendon, and I work for GRCSU as the OT. Allie isn't just my colleague. She's the PT to my OT. I work with her every day, and she's become one of my closest friends. We've worked side by side to serve our students with care, dedication, and heart. And I don't do public speaking because I'm very anxious and extremely shy, but thanks to Allie, over the last 6 years of working for GRCSU, I've come to find myself and I've started to stand up for the things that I believe in. She's shown me how to advocate for the people that you care about most and how to advocate for the kids that need us because they often don't have their own voice to share. Beyond our day-to-day work, Allie is also an incredible basketball coach, the kind of coach who leads with compassion, pushes her players to grow, and shows up for them on and off the court. She spends countless hours thinking about how to help the boys succeed and how to help them get better on the court, in the community, and in the classroom. I don't think I've had a single conversation with Allie that doesn't somehow end up talking about basketball, and I never understand how she sneaks that into our conversations. She cares so much about these boys, it's almost like each and every one is like her own child. When I heard that the school board was looking to remove her from this position, I thought I had actually misunderstood her. How could people look to get rid of someone that has helped build this program for what it is in just 4 short years? Allie's the kind of coach that every school needs. She builds character, demands accountability from her players, and believes in her players even when they don't believe in themselves. Her impact goes far beyond basketball, and I think we can see that tonight. And those of us who know her, work with her, or have watched her lead, both in the schools or on the court, know how much she matters to our GRCSU community.
Thank you.
My name is Loren Eddie. I'm one of the older alumni here, graduating from class of 1972. I live in West Rutland. My kids grew up here. I grew up here. My grandparents, we grew up here. And I am totally baffled about what is going on. And so many of you have said, we're confused. Is it you, or you? You're the school board. What the heck is going on? Which one of you, or all of you, have brought this about and made a situation that nobody was really aware of? Somebody. I fully support Allie and her family. They have done so much for the community and come together when nobody else wanted to do the things that they have done, especially Allie. Shame on you guys. Shame on you guys. You are supposed to be elected and representative of all of us. Yes. The confusion is overwhelming. I am very glad it's off the agenda tonight because I believe that the superintendent, however that works, they should be the ones, because you are obviously not backed by supporters, and she is. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is that it?
Somebody.
Go ahead, Matthew. Matthew?
Yes, I'm Matthew Pratt, and I live in Hampton, and Allie's a neighbor of mine. And I'm sitting here listening to everything going on, and obviously this is not about how she does her job as a basketball coach or as whatever else. This sounds like it's a personal vendetta. So I just can't believe this, just listening to this. And I'm in support of Allie, and I'm in support of the boys, you know, to have her as their coach. Again, I'm with everyone else. I'm back.
Thank you. Anybody else before we move on?
Oh, what's one more gonna hurt?
All right.
I'm Megan Pulage. I was born and raised here. Graduated in 2004. I've known Allie since we were kids. We played sports together our whole life. I recently reached out to Allie asking about coaching because I've been wanting to get into coaching, and seeing her go through this makes me disgusted. And it doesn't even want me to coach anymore. Having to deal with this kind of crap. And I'm trying to find words to not swear and yell at you guys, but it's very hard because we all feel that frustration. I just feel like taking her away from these boys. Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to them? How far they've come with her? Like, why would you do that? It just makes no sense to me. And it makes me not even want to pursue coaching here because of this crap right here. So I think it's really sad and pathetic and ridiculous, and I support Allie 100%. Thank
you. My name is Martha Kulig, and I'm from West Rutland. One of your members asked about transparency, and that was met with silence. I don't know when you discussed the transparency, but I sort of feel that with you taking this matter off the table, I think you've just revealed that you do have a hidden agenda. Thank you.
My name is Dave Sereni from West Rutland. I'm just wondering to add to that statement there. Does anybody on the board want to just tell everybody while we're all right here who brought this up, who had the problem, what's going on, so we know who not to vote for next year?
Right.
Why? Come up to the podium. Hey, I'd like to have you stop at the house and shoot the breeze with you.
Oh, I'm doing it right here.
Tom.
Well,
Tom, it's not the time.
Okay.
It's not the time.
It is the time.
It is absolutely time.
We deserve to know.
Yeah, what's he
Don't hide it. Don't hide it.
Anybody else? Why don't you come up and tell us why?
Stand on the podium, Tom.
I think an explanation is owed.
Yeah, I think everybody needs an explanation right now. But I'm not going to ask you for that, Tom. I don't know you personally. I really don't care, honestly. But if you have the nods to sit up there and raise your hand to Dave over there, I think you should look at the rest of this town and probably step down from your position.
Absolutely.
Can't you be voted off the board? Like how does that
Yes, a
work?
petition.
All right.
No.
It's easy.
So are you
All
gonna
right.
answer why?
Anybody else?
Are they gonna answer why or no? So we get left in the dark on your answer?
We don't
but
answer
you gotta-
during public comment.
You don't answer public, that's
They don't answer anything.
so right up in our.
That's how you like it.
Yeah.
Rory Newton. I am with Lakeside News in Rutland. And my question is, let me say this. I've been to a lot
Where
of
were you?
meetings.
Excuse sir. Where were you from?
I'm from Castleton.
Castleton. Okay. Thank you.
I've been to a lot of meetings in my lifetime. Okay. I don't understand why you would put this on the agenda to cause some type of talk here in town and then take it off the agenda. And to sit there, all of you, and to say nothing about this incident, why it's happened, and why Allie is being taken to the, whatever you want to call it. I support Allie. I've known her for many, many years. Many, many years. I've been covering West Rutland basketball, baseball, all the sports. Since 1996, I've been covering this school, and I hope that you speak to the issue and tell the folks what's going on.
Thank you.
My name is Rick Hart. I've been a resident of West Rutland for 45 years. I've also had the great opportunity and pleasure of coaching for over a dozen years and over a dozen teams in West Rutland. In fact, I coached Allie when she was in middle school, and never found anyone with a dedication to coaching that she exhibits. Her father is a great example of a coach, and she's followed in his footsteps, and I just wanted here to have the opportunity just to say that it would be a great disjustice to remove Allie Serrani as the coach of the boys basketball team of West Rutland.
Thank you.
My name is Ellen Walker. I've been a resident of West Rutland since 1977. I had two children who attended here. One graduated and one had the opportunity to graduate from Rutland. I'm here, I wasn't going to say anything. I'm just here to ask a question. If you removed it from the agenda for tonight, does that mean it's going to show up some other night? Do we need to come back here for every meeting you guys have? Because that's my question. And also, I want to know, there are 5 troopers standing in the hallway. Why? Are you afraid? So,
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on.
Just a little something. So my girls, I'm Melanie Grabowski. My girls I'm from West Rutland. My girls played varsity with Carl. And I can't thank Allie enough. She did AAU for my girls, and they did like a tremendous job for West Side, I feel. They did above and beyond. Allie, you let my Kiana be the craziest kid in AAU, and it just, I think, helped form her to have the personality that she has. Some people think it's a little too strong, but I think it's wonderful because that's who she is. And Allie, I think you helped that. And as far as my daughter Shelby, I think she helped her as far as, you know, getting her foot in the door and just being a stronger person, athlete. All your times, both of you, for the countless hours of not being home with your family and not eating everything you're supposed to, and just treating our kids like family. I can't thank you enough. So I hope it works out.
Oh boy, I'm retiring anyways. So, I'm going to really try to frame my words as best I can. There's a reason why Allie was chosen as the boys basketball coach. There would be a reason why I would select any one of you guys if I was around. Any one of you guys wanted to coach someday, you would be considered. Peyton, whoever else might be here from the girls' team, you would be considered because you've gone through a program where the example has been set before you of what good coaching is.
Yes.
Okay? So I always try to hire people who have been through a successful system. Simple as that. Because I know what their character is, I know what they've learned, I know what their values are, and I know how they're going to go about doing their business. And there's not a person, not a gentleman, or a female in here that I would not consider coaching at some level at some point in time. That's why I have coaches at West Rutland who have been West Rutland students, because they know how to go about it the right way. We teach that. Okay? It has been a struggle. Trust me. Every time a Serrani or a Mitchell comes to me and say they want to coach, I said, oh God. Not because I don't think that they're going to do a good job. I know they're going to do a good job, but I also know there's going to be some baggage that comes with that. And I'm going to take some crap. And I'm willing to take the crap to hire the right people. And I believe I hired the right person. I put her contract up again this time, knowing that at some point in time we'd have to be doing this. And I would do it again tomorrow. Okay? I could say a lot more, but I'll save that for the July board meeting next year after I've get into a little bit deeper of what I've gone through for 15, 25 years with certain board meetings.
Hi, my name's Jennifer Pulage, and I lived in West Rutland for over 10 years, and I moved to Fairhaven. And I struggled to make every game for my son. And what I've noticed since Allie's been coaching is the pride that these boys have. And I'm not just speaking about my son, I'm speaking about every single member of this team. How every time they went to a game, every time they faced things, Allie taught them to face it together. How she brought the heart and soul back to West Rutland. She brought honor to the team. And I think it is appalling that because of her last name or whatever agenda, bias, personal biases that you have, that this is even being thought of here today. As another woman to woman, I respect her as a mother. I respect her as a coach, and I hope that I speak for all of West Rutland to know that, you know, when you have good people, you want to keep them around because they're teaching our kids things while we're at work, while we can't be there for them. But she treats them, every single one of them, like an individual. And she brings honor to this team. She's brought determination to these kids. Kids that have graduated are going outside of the box and starting programs, being a part of the community. Like, she has developed a team in a way that has really encouraged a lot of people, and you should be ashamed.
I'm Kendra Hogan. I'm from West Rutland. I have a child that's on the basketball team, and I just want them to acknowledge whether they want Allie as a coach or not, and so that everyone can hear it.
Is there anyone here that is not here to support Allie? Is there anyone here that has an issue with Allie? Anyone?
Just the two at the end of the table.
We love Allie.
I just want the boys to acknowledge if they would like Allie to be their coach or not, so everyone can hear it.
Even though I graduated, I go through it right again. Every time I'd want Allie as my coach.
My name's Dylan Zengel. I'm from Pittsford, Vermont. I coach a lot of these boys in soccer. With that comment about here to support Allie, yes, I'm here to support Allie, but really I'm here to support the kids, and that's what this should be about. And the best thing for these kids is to have her as her basketball or their basketball coach.
My name is Katrina Doty. I'm from West Rutland. I don't think there's anything else that can be said. We all know that we're here to support Allie, but where my confusion is where we go from here. You know, it's been taken off the agenda. It was put on the agenda for a reason, and we're all here. We all took the time out of our day to be here. And now we're left with nothing. And I feel like we deserve an explanation. I'm looking at you, Eric, because I know you personally. I don't know if you had anything to do with this decision, but we need to know why. If you raised your hand, why can't we get an explanation and know why we're here? Because it doesn't make any sense. And like, I don't have to deal with it anymore because my son's graduated, but I don't even know why I'm crying. It's because I'm an emotional person and I don't public speak, but these boys deserve better from people who are supposed to be representing us and them.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, I got one more.
You got one more?
Yep.
All right, yes.
I'm Jesse Flood. I've helped out last year for volunteering, coaching them. I've seen it from both sides. I was a player for 3 years under her. I would just like to ask a quick question. What have you guys seen that I have not seen? I have been on both sides of it. Is there anything? No? Okay. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Won't answer.
Okay, I'm Marcia Turner. I'm from Rutland Town. Hi. And I just wanted a clarifying question on this. So it was on the agenda, and you made a motion to take it off the agenda. And I think you said something about like the superintendent has the right to release somebody from a job. Is that correct?
Superintendent hires non-licensed employees.
Right. So with removing
the board doesn't have, by this statute that I read.
Yep.
Doesn't have the authority.
Maybe the statute should have read before the meeting, before the agenda was written.
So then that means that Mr. Sell, the superintendent, is going to be the one that will either rehire or not rehire Ms. Mitchell. Is that correct? Okay, I just wanted to be clear because I was a little unclear with that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
My name is Tyler Serrani. I live in West Rutland, Vermont. I'd just like to say, I mean, just like everybody here, I'm appalled with what's going on. It feels like the people who live in West Rutland on the board aren't looking out for the kids, aren't looking out for West Rutland in general. The removal of Allie would be a complete detriment to these kids, but also the next generation of them as well who are coming up, because it's so confusing as to why it would need to happen. In order, like, there's just no thought in that whole idea. I feel like Allie has done nothing but good for the program. I feel like it feels like there's a disconnect. Like this is the community. Everybody is rallying behind Allie, and it feels like nobody on the board understands that. It's just appalling to me that this has even happened. It's appalling to me that Eric Maxim isn't the gym teacher here. It's just, that's my time.
Okay.
I think it would be appropriate, process is a little bit out the window for this meeting, that you should at least address the questions that were inquired. Or, I have the floor at the moment, Eric. Or
I didn't recognize you.
Or you
should
have
raise your hand.
or you need to address when it will be addressed at what meeting you will be responding to these questions.
I'm not going to respond to that tonight.
Why not? That wasn't my question. I said when
I gave you my answer and we're moving on.
Wow. Process is out the window.
Okay.
That's a lot of drama.
I'd like to speak. Hello. I'm raising my hand.
Okay.
I'm a West Rutland teacher and a resident of Clarendon. And I hate public speaking, and I love Allie and the surrounding family. So the fact that I'm doing this is just because you guys are starting to bug me. I want to know if you would have said that to a guy who didn't raise his hand, because I'm feeling a little bit like this is personal towards women.
No, it's not.
I am. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But like,
because she's done the same thing in meetings
okay,
to us.
whatever. I've looked at this.
Okay.
I've looked at this problem.
Is a big posturing on her part.
I don't know. I've got my own stuff. Okay, but I'm here. I've looked at this situation as a teacher, and I want you to know as board.
Karen's going to say something.
Listen up. I want you to know as board members that I have classes that create posters for pep rallies, and we go down and we have so much positive energy, all generated by the basketball coaches. It's a whole family. You ask anybody here that's one of my students, there's an energy that's priceless. It's beautiful. That's me as a teacher. As a mom, I've lost it and said things inappropriate to my child's coach because he was berated and I had to stand up for my child. Allie would have never done that if she had coached my child. I would have never have lost my words, had to defend my child because she doesn't treat kids like that. And I had respect for that coach as well. I said things inappropriately and I apologized. And so my whole take on all this is like, whatever happened, I think it was about words. And I think the people apologized that needed to. And if we're committed to excellence, which excellence is a big word, we're not committed to perfection, we're committed to excellence. And excellence is saying you're sorry, forgiving and moving on, looking at the bigger picture. And this is a community. Like, we would be lost. How many of you would be lost if we didn't have a basketball game to go to and good energy in the winter and things to look forward to? Like, don't take that away from us, especially these guys. These guys also lost people in their lives on multiple levels, including teachers that they've had a lot of respect for. Like, let's not hurt them again. Let's just do what's right, kiss and make up.
We support Allie.
Consent agenda. We're moving on to item A, approval of the minutes. April 10th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I approve with the two-page piece that I passed out to the last time for the minutes for April. That the woman who was doing the minutes couldn't hear them, so I did go on. I was able to hear them. I passed it out to everybody. I'd like that added for the people that came to our board meeting and wanted to be heard. I want to add the two-page thing to it so that they could be heard.
Go ahead, Pat.
I would also like to see reflected in the minutes
Are you making a motion to?
I make a motion to add that to the minutes.
In discussion. Go ahead.
I would like to have the minutes reflect the comment in regards to the Booster Club and their possible skimming of funds. That is important. It was an accusation. It was untrue. And it needs to be reflected. Thank you.
Yep.
Eric, can I just say, like, maybe when people are leaving, it's hard to hear what's going on, so maybe take a
recess to allow people to leave, if that is.
That's a good idea, Jen. Let's take a 5-minute recess. Calling to the board out of recess. There was a motion on the floor to
Grade us out of recess at 7:04.
7:04, sorry. There was a motion on the floor to add the addendum and add the word skimming to the minutes.
Well, to Lisa's point, though, it wasn't on the agenda. Should we put it on for next month? then?
We should put it on for next month, but here's what I would like. I would like maybe that Linda, and if another board member wants to sit down with, who's the wonderful lady, Shauna, to listen to the minutes again, so that way we have an agreement to what was said and what wasn't said. Is that amenable to everybody?
Can she get a copy of this firsthand, so at least she could know what I heard? Or do we have to both listen to it together?
What's your question, Mike?
Answer a question first.
I think it would be good to listen to it together.
I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Who's doing it, Linda and Mike?
Linda and Mike? Why didn't, my question would be, is to a fellow board member, how could you hear it and Shauna couldn't?
I don't know. I have no idea, but I had no problem listening to it. I don't know. Maybe, I'm not saying that I'm believing her, she couldn't hear it. That's her statement. It's in the minutes. I believe her. I went on, and the only reason I did that was because we had the other parent here, and they were able to tell us their story, and we documented it nicely. It would be nice to be able to document the race because they really asked for the documentation. So that was my thing. That was my reasoning behind it.
Okay. Yes.
Just a reminder that the minutes are really only as minimum required is action and motion. The rest of it is not necessary.
Right. But what I would say to that is because the other parents' minutes did have things in it that were not, we didn't just have a paragraph of what they were coming for. There was a page and a half of them coming to see us and talk to us, and there was some, so I just thought in fairness that the other parent should have the same fair statement, so that when people read the minutes, they can go to the first minutes and see what was said, and then they can go to the second minutes and see what was said, and then make whatever they want to make. We're not making any judgment call, we're just putting out what was stated by these two sets of parents.
Okay. Okay. Lisa?
The prior meeting that she's referencing was a hearing, so it was based on just that family. That is why it encompassed the entire essence of the minutes. The board has to decide, are you doing minutes as we've done them in the past, or are we going to decide at certain points things are going to be much more detailed? Because it seems peculiar to me that certain things would be detailed so specifically and other things are not. We hire Shauna to do them. We haven't had an issue. If we have a better recording, perhaps we share that back with her and ask her to review that and to provide the new synopsis update for that piece. I think that would be the most appropriate action to be taken.
Well, and all I'll say to that is that when you were on, and I were on the board 6 years ago, we did do the minutes and wrote every single thing down, and then we chose to go in the other direction. However, I don't understand why when someone comes to the board and they ask specifically for this, okay, and it's to be heard, why we can't offer them the same courtesy that we offered the other parents. It's not like I'm asking you to go through everything in that, I'm not asking for anything else in the minutes except for that piece. That's all I'm asking the board to do, just to let these parents have their say in the minutes. Everything else is consolidated. So when we have something like that happen and parents come, it's like saying to them, well, we hear you and we want to write down what you stated, because they asked for that. They were saying, this is what we heard. The other parents said, and this is what we heard. So we have them both now down. I'm more than willing to go and sit with Shauna and hear the whole thing over again without any problem.
So will you rescind your motion and we'll
will,
move
if
forward
that's
that
what
way? Okay, the motion has been rescinded. Moving on to approval of June 19th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, or the minutes, excuse me? A motion's been made by Mike. Any discussion?
Hang on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, I need a motion to approve the warrants.
So moved.
A motion's been made by Linda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Eric. I'll keep this brief. I know it's getting a little bit later than we expected, but first I just want to say congratulations to the graduating class of 2025 of Pulage High School, Proctor High School, and West Rutland High School. I do want to wish all the graduates the best of luck as they move on with their careers, whether it be to college or to workforce. We're very proud of them. I had the opportunity to attend two of the ceremonies. Each year I can't attend all three just because of how they work out, but the two ceremonies I did attend were great, and you could definitely feel the sense of community at both the events. And from what Lisa Madison shared as well, was a great event at Pulage High School as well on that night. So I just want to say congratulations to the students and the families. The rest of my report really is centered around now what is called Act 73, which was formerly H454, as well as H480. So I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I did want to make note that in the report, I did provide some information that on June 26th, the Vermont Superintendent Association met with Secretary Saunders, in which she laid out her priority areas around the AOE's new strategic plan, as well as some deliverables. And the reason why I thought it was just important that the board just see some of these deliverables is because there are some people who believe that the only thing that's happening right now is just a task force or redistricting committee has been formed, and they're looking to draw maps. There are a lot of other items that are being moved through right now. So when those maps are being brought before the legislature in December, that they can then begin moving forward. So it's just important to take note of these deliverables. You can see what's happening both at the state board, at the AOE, as well as I know that the Joint Fiscal Office has some deliverables that they have to present as well. So it's important information there. And then in H480, there are just two items I'll just quickly bring attention to. One is around behavioral threat assessments. The GRCSU is well positioned. We have been using the behavioral threat assessment for a couple of years now, and so we have behavioral threat assessment teams in each of our buildings, so we are well positioned to make a smooth transition into this new policy. There may be a few slight adjustments that we have to make, but it'll be a smooth transition, and we'll review that with the admin at the admin retreat next week. And then the second piece is around cell phones and social media use. Excuse me. So there's what this ask of schools beginning of the year 26-27 is that, one, that there'll be a model policy developed by the VSBA by January of 2026, and that schools by July 1, 2026 will have either adopt a VSBA model around cell phone use in school or will have one of their own. And the restriction will be that students will not be allowed to use cell phones or have cell phones from bell to bell. So the minute they walk into the school to the minute they leave, they'll not be allowed to utilize cell phones. And that will be a policy that we will have to enforce in our schools. And that's something which we'll talk with our admins about this. We already have procedures in place where we're about 90% of the way there in most of our schools. I know some of our schools do allow the use of cell phones during lunch and passing periods. Obviously, with this new passage, we would have to restrict that to no cell phones at all during the school day. The second piece is around social media, and the social media is that coaches, teachers, schools cannot use social media to in any way to interact and communicate with students. So, that's something which we'll talk with our athletic directors and our building administrators about, is that we have to decide on an SU-based communication piece, or, program that will allow us to, at any time, pull records of any communication, contacts, phone calls, whatever it may be. And so we have access to that. We've had issues in the past. Other districts have issues, other SUs, coaches, where coaches have been using, say, Snapchat or other, WhatsApp or things on those lines. So we are restricting this where it is through a GRCSU approved communication piece that we can monitor. And if there's ever a question about a questionable piece of communication, then we can then pull that. That's really meant to protect the students, but it's better to align. I think some of our families will probably appreciate that, because I know that some schools in the past have had 2 or 3 different modes of communication, and so for one child, might be one, use this app, for another child, it's another app. So we're really looking to restrict that. Another piece that we're talking about next week with social media is that part of homework or any assignments that's teachers cannot ask students to go to a social media site, and YouTube is one of those social media sites for homework or for any sort of assignment. So we have to look at what that looks like for us as we move forward. So I just want to bring that to the attention of the board. We're going to be talking with us at the admin retreat. This is nothing new. This has been in the newspapers, been talked about, but once we have a better understanding of this, we will then begin communicating that with our families and our students.
Okay.
We will be phasing that in over the course of this year, as well as in the 26-27 school year. So.
Thank you, Chris. This is really very well. It's instead of going to look online for every little piece, it's really nice to have it all together. So I thank you very much.
Chris, I have a question about the H454.
Which now is Act 73, so we just,
now what?
Act 73.
Okay, so Act 73, once they choose the maps, because they're under a time limit to choose the maps, or it goes away, completely goes away.
By December, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
so.
present at least 3 maps.
So, and then once the legislature chooses the maps, do you think that they will move quickly to close smaller schools and move kids, students to maybe larger area schools?
So I can't speculate. I know that consolidation is a part of this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
And when that occurs, I know that they talk about right now, July 1, 2028 is when this would all take place in terms of moving to a new SU. And what that means in terms of, are some schools being consolidated, or do they leave that up to the new board, the new SU board, to then begin that process of taking a look to see what that looks like? That's, I think there's still to be determined. I know that every step of the way there'll probably be some opposition, because I think when the maps are drawn, people will be happy, some people will not be happy. When you look at those property lines, I think even with the foundation formula. While from a district's perspective or from an SU's perspective, we will benefit just in looking at that model, because we are Quarry Valley. The GRSSU is one of the lower spending SU's districts in the state. When we shift to a foundation formula, we will receive more money, but when we look at what that cost could potentially be to the taxpayers, our local taxpayers would not benefit from that. And with the foundation formula, taxpayers no longer have a vote. They can't vote a budget down. So the only thing they do is if a board asks to spend more money, let's say then the committee could then say yes or no to that.
And I just want to remind everybody that please raise your hand so I can recognize you first. Recognize you, Lisa. You. You had.
So isn't it correct that H454, now Act 73, doesn't call for the closure of schools?
Correct. Does not.
Go ahead, Mike.
Just to clarify, the phone act, that was the legislature that did that. They took that out of our hands, correct? That's not something the SU has decided to do.
That is
a
something that now
legislative
is,
act.
that is law.
That is law. Right.
That is something that it was, a piece of legislation that effective 26-27 around the cell phone policy, but the social media is something that we have to work on for the fall of this year. So.
Linda?
And the only thing, they're not touching, or they're not working on elementary schools. We're only talking about high schools at this point.
And then I think
from
it really,
what I've read is that, I'm not asking you to correct it, but go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it seemed like we're just talking about high school students at this point, because there's so much more. They're not thinking about anybody in elementary school. Is that what you?
Yes, I think
Okay.
I'm hearing similar things. I know that Representative Pritchard was at another meeting that I attended, one of our board meetings, and he did say that he believes that high schools will be looked at first.
Right.
But like I said, that really will be up to the new supervisory union, the new boards, and what decision is.
Right.
So,
Yep.
okay.
So. Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Moving on to old business, the driver's education vehicle. We've got to make a decision on whether to purchase a vehicle, whether to lease a vehicle, and I also would like to ask a question. I want to make sure they retrofit these vehicles so you go purchase a vehicle and then they put the brake on, correct? Okay.
Correct. It has to be installed into each time we get a new vehicle, we have to reinstall the brake.
Okay. Do we have now we've made some changes as far as the program that we did have in Pulteney at the old Central Vermont. What was the name of that program? I'm sorry, it's escaping me.
I'm not quite sure what you're asking.
Oh, at the old SU in Pulteney, we had a program for a year there for kids.
So we had to buy a bunch of vans, is what I'm getting at. Is there any extra vans? Could we retrofit one of the vans?
So the vans that were purchased for the wellness center were
Thank you.
vans, and so those were purchased with special ed funds that would need to be used for special ed purposes. Quarry Valley did purchase one van that's used for extracurricular activities. It's mainly housed at Pulteney High School, but it's available to any of the schools, and I believe it's used to transport students back and forth during football season or other sports, as well as for when students have to go to a small event where there's only a small or an event where there's only a small number of students attending, like a music event or something, where it's more economical for the teacher or the advisor to drive the students than to get a bus for 2 or 3 students.
Okay. So now go ahead, Mike.
Well, let Lewis finish. I want to make sure he's done.
Are you all done, Lewis?
So I'll just say a few things. So I did, based on the board's comments last month, I did go back to both of the dealerships and ask them for some more information based on the concern of purchasing a vehicle due to the unknown in 3 years, what we will look like. So I've asked each of the dealerships to present me a lease option, and each of them provided me 2 lease options. One is to pay for the vehicle monthly, and so you will see those in your packet. And the other one is to still lease the vehicle, but pay for it all up front, so that we're paying less in interest. And I can go through that information when you're ready, but if you have any more questions about the program, back to your last question about the van. Yes, it could be retrofit to, I think that brake can be installed into almost any vehicle.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't know if those vans would be best for a driver's ed program. I think that would be a question for maybe a driver's ed teacher to see if they would be really a good learning environment.
Okay. Thank you. Mike?
Well, with Lewis is here, my argument would be, I think we should just lease rather than buy, because you're going to spend basically twice as much money to buy. Then at some point in time, somebody's got to turn that over to somebody, because now we're not a district anymore. I know it's a little inconvenient sometimes for service, but I would argue that leasing, because it could be longer than that, it could be less than that. I don't think we should spend the money on purchasing.
I know. Are you done? I'm sorry. I know when I leased a vehicle that I didn't just have to go back to the dealership. I could go to a closer dealership. So I don't know. I don't know if that's something in the contract of the last one we leased that you had to go back there, but that's always an option too.
So the arrangement we had with the last dealership was not an official lease. The traditional lease that we're all familiar with. It was more like a rental. We were paying a daily rate. The vehicle's title was never put into our name like it is in a lease. It was in the dealership's name. If there was an accident or anything, it was still it all belonged to the dealership.
Okay.
So the lease options that I got that were in the board resources folder is the Subaru Crosstrek, which we looked at last month. It has a MSRP of $28,000 and change. The lease price would be between $415 and $425 a month, or if we paid it all up front, it would be about $14,486. Which, based on adding the 415 times the 36, doesn't make sense to pay for it all up front, because you're not really saving anything. The other one is Formula Ford for the Escape, and that one is $537 a month, or $17,854. So based on those prices, my recommendation would be to go with the lower one, which would be the Subaru Crosstrek. It's an all-wheel drive vehicle. It's what they used last year. I mean, different cars, but it's the same model and make. And we can pay for it monthly at $415 a month.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions for Lewis?
Lewis, regardless of where we end up or what we end up doing, when the car is housed in Poultney, is the green building, the green garage next to it, available to put that car in?
I believe you're referring to what we call the bus barn.
Probably, yeah.
And I'm not sure if that would be available. We do lease that out to Betcha Transit. They pay us monthly rent for that building.
Okay, that answered that.
Mike?
Does that car go home with the driver's ed teacher? Is that where it's usually kept?
No, it is kept at school.
At school.
Yes, every night.
Second question, are we able to do a daily through these, or is that all gone?
So the daily rate was for the dealership up in Montpelier. Last year we paid $13 a day, which works out to be roughly about $400 a month. So it's a little bit cheaper, but there is the inconvenience of every time we have to go back up to Montpelier every year to switch the vehicle out. We have to pay to have the brakes switched every year, because there's no long-term arrangement available. It's just an annual thing. If there's any issues with the vehicle, then two people with two vehicles have to bring it to Montpelier, because it's not an official lease. It can't be worked on at any dealership.
But Lewis, under that, we return it for the summer and do not pay for those months?
If we're not using it during the summer, correct. In the past few summers, we have had summer programs. We're not this summer. So it was returned it was the middle of June. I returned it. So we're not paying this summer.
Go ahead, Mike.
So the maintenance on the daily is on the back of the dealership, not on us, correct?
well, routine maintenance like oil changes and stuff like that is our responsibility. But if there was a brake issue or warranty type issue, then we'd have to bring it to Montpelier for them to work on. But it is it's an annual arrangement, so the chances, I mean, we're getting a new vehicle each year, so the chances of us having a big issue are pretty slim.
Okay. Any other questions for Lewis?
I also just quickly looked up, like, you can, the DMV and the regulations. You cannot use a vehicle that is used under driver's ed has to only be used for driver's ed. You
Okay.
cannot use a vehicle.
Multitask vehicle. Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions, statements? Okay. Does someone want to entertain a motion?
I'd make a motion to go with Subaru Crosstrek for the 415 to 425
Okay.
to lease it.
Okay. So a motion's been made. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lewis. Moving on to finance. Lewis, do you have anything?
I don't have anything to report. At this meeting, I'll have some more information regarding year end at the August meeting.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to personnel action, contract recommendations. Do I have a motion to approve the contract recommendations?
Was that even us?
There's
These are
licensed.
licensed people, Chris?
Teachers
There's
in there.
one licensed individual, Willow Betts from Proctor Elementary. The rest are non-licensed for informational purposes only.
And I have to recuse myself from this as well.
So I make you made the motion. Never mind. Well,
Right.
there's one license, he said.
So
The one person.
There was
yeah,
one.
we're gonna vote on the one licensed person.
Right.
So I don't have to recuse myself.
So
I'm looking.
It's Willow Betts for
it's Willow
Proctor
Betts, the
Elementary.
very first one.
Okay, Maureen, yep, okay. A motion's been made to accept the licensed employee contract. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, general public comments.
I just state my name and my
Yes, please.
Marcia Turner, Rutland Town. I'm also the president of the Greater Rutland Education Association. But I've been coming to a couple of these meetings and I noticed the agenda, that this one was not as clear, I guess. So there's warrants are not listed here, just as approval of warrants. I was at Well Springs last night and they actually listed the warrants just by the item, whatever it was, the title. And the same thing with the contract recommendations. I just am wondering if there could be a little bit more clarification on the agenda, a little bit more information on the agenda, so that people know when they're looking at it what it is pertaining to. And that would just be a suggestion. And when I go to my Rutland Town Board, hopefully they have this in detail. Otherwise, I'll ask them the same thing. But I just happened to notice that because I was just at Wellspring last night, and their agenda, rather much shorter than yours, had like the warrants listed. I think there was like 3 of them at that point. So that was kind of just nice because then the public could actually look it up. So
Okay, that's something I'll talk with Chris about, but thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Would anybody else like to speak? Okay. Future meeting dates, August 14th, 2025. Are there any future agenda items?
So we'll put back the, excuse
Oops,
me, the
please
April
raise your
10th
hand. Sorry,
We'll
thank
put
you.
back the April 10th as we've done.
Okay,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
Lisa?
I do think it's important that we, however you choose to address it, there were questions asked tonight, it's appropriate to address those at the next meeting. That is how it has been done, that we listen during public session and respond at the following meeting. So I think it's important that those are addressed at the next meeting.
Okay. Any others? All right, no need for executive session. I move to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
Motion's been made. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.